by people who know the history and are tired of the contradictions. So in much of the public literature that has been circulating in America, specifically over the past years, there's been a number of articles that are revisiting Christianity, that are revisiting the historical Jesus, that are revisiting concepts of God, concepts of Mary and heaven. And so what you begin to realize is that more people now are beginning to talk about ways of identifying with the Creator. As you look at Africa as the source of history and culture and civilization, we find that Africans were the first human beings on planet Earth. Africans were the first people to develop civilization on Earth. And they also developed a way of relating to the Creator. They were the first people to develop a system of relating to the Creator, relating to Earth and their environment, and relating to each other. If we go back to ancient Kemet, for example, the writing form that was used in ancient Kemet was called Medu Neter, which means the writing of God, God's writings. When it was spoken, it was represented as God's words. This writing form, Medu Neter, was an ideographic form of communication that used symbols to represent ideas, as opposed to letters, which have no meaning until the letters are strung together to form words, and words are then strung together to form sentences. But each character has meaning, in Medu Neter, has meaning. And to a person who is trained to understand the meaning of these characters, there is power embedded in each of these characters. What's significant about Medu Neter is that the symbols were symbols that were derived from nature, derived from the environment. The word neter is a word that is mistakenly referred to by many Egyptologists as God. The word neter does not mean God. The word neter means a principle or an aspect of the Creator. Principle or an aspect of the Creator. So when you think about this, what they were saying, and one of the other contradictions that comes from the study of ancient Kemet, is that people often say that the Egyptians worship a multiplicity of gods, which is not true. They had many Neteru. Each Neteru represented one specific aspect of the Creator. They had the understanding that what we call God, or the Creator, is so vast that no person is capable of understanding this creative source, God. But you can understand aspects of the Creator, the Neteru. And by understanding the multiple aspects of the Creator, you can ultimately come to begin to comprehend the whole by understanding the parts. And so, in this ancient civilization, they specifically reference 36 Neteru, 36 aspects of this creative principle that were projected into the sky and were attributed or associated to 36 different constellations, which revolved around the sky during the course of the year. And as these constellations moved around the sky, then the constellations were grouped, these 36 constellations were grouped into a series of 10 days each. In other words, these constellations, as they moved across the sky, moved past a certain region of the country over a period of 10 days. So those 10 days represented the period of one Neter and constituted 1 week. 36 Neteru had 10 days each, or 36 Neteru who ruled over a 10% portion of the sky, leads us to 360 degrees in a circle, leads us to 36 weeks of 10 days each, which gives us 360 days in a year. Then there were, which means then that their way of relating to the Creator was so complex and at the same time so simplified that every week was a week in which one would live their lives in accordance to a specific aspect of the Creator. And by adding all of these aspects together during the course of 360 days, you could achieve a greater understanding of this force that exists beyond the Neteru. And then there were 5 Neteru added to the end of the calendar year that represented the Neteru who were responsible for bringing humans to earth, giving you a calendar year of 365 days. Specific method of relating to the forces of creation around you. And when they built their temples, they constructed these temples in specific alignment to a specific nature or principle or aspect of the Creator. Designed in such a way that as that star, as that constellation, as that sun rose on a specific day, it would illuminate the innermost portion of that temple, which was referred to as the Holy of Holies, the most sacred space within that temple, where the head priest was said to enter into to have a discourse with the Creator. African spirituality was based upon a profound understanding of the cosmos, of the universe, and our relationship to the cosmos. They understood that every aspect on Earth was affected by forces outside of planet Earth. The sun rose in the morning on the east bank of the Nile, set every night on the west bank of the Nile. The presence of the sun caused plants to grow, and the growth of the plants nurtured human beings. This is a visual representation of the Creator at work. They saw the moon moving across the sky and saw the moon's effect on the water, which caused high and low tides. And at the same time as the moon was affecting the water, the moon was also affecting the fluid within human beings. It affected their personalities. So by understanding that we are all affected by exterior forces, you can then better come to know and understand yourself by coming to know and understand the forces that are exerted on you and others around you by external forces. And so they came to understand and realize that we were in fact spiritual beings living here on earth, having a human experience, that we were in fact capable of manifesting aspects of the Neteru within ourselves so that we could become creators here on earth. That's who we are. One of the fundamental beliefs in this tradition was that man and woman had a direct relationship with the Creator. Man and woman was never separated from the Creator. This relationship always exists within, and as long as you maintain your connection through ritual, through diet, through exercise, you would always be able to express your relationship to the Creator by the things that you created. So all of life is a ritual. Rituals were a part of the rites of passage. They represented your growth from birth to maturation, adulthood, death, ancestorhood, and rebirth. Spirituality established a foundation which helped a person cultivate their humanity. But when that link was destroyed, we lost our connection to the spiritual, and we became susceptible to the manipulative forces of others. If you understand, in a couple of books written by an African couple, Amalidoma Somé and his wife, Sabonfu Somé, they have provided us with a very insightful look into an African concept of spirituality. As a matter of fact, in Sabonfu Somé's book, The Spirit of Intimacy, she talks about a ritual that is performed on a pregnant woman that speaks to their profound understanding of spirit and who and what we are. Let me just share an excerpt of that ritual with you. It's in the chapter entitled Born to a Purpose. It says that when a woman is pregnant, there's a ritual performed called the hearing ritual. And in this ritual, the elders will ask the unborn child a question: who are you? And the child will speak through the mother and say who they are, say which ancestor they are, that is to return through the body of the